it up at page 8, page 38.
Okay. 38.
Page
Okay.
38, and our last headword was ongoing, newer type of lesson. Okay,
Okay.
so let's start with revision. Ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Here we go. Must a
Okay.
guarantee be in writing in order for it to be legally valid? Must a guarantee be in writing in order for it to be legally valid? Yes, a
Yes.
guarantee
A
must be
guarantee
in writing
must be in
in
writing
order for it
in
to
order
be
for it
legally
to
valid.
be legally valid.
Very good. Would you say the average person was motivated by money more than by anything else in life? Would you say the average person was motivated by money more than by anything else in life? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'd say
I'd
the
say
average
the
person
average
was
person
motivated
was
by money
motivated by
more
money
than by
more
anything
than by
else in
anything
life.
else in life.
Very good. If not, what do you think is a more powerful source of motivation? If not, what do you think is a more powerful source of motivation? I think
I think mm, improving their skill
is a more
is a
powerful
more
source
powerful source
of
of
motivation.
motivation.
Very good. As an employee, which do you think would motivate you more, a pay rise or a performance related bonus? As an employee, which do you think would motivate you more, a pay rise or a performance related bonus? As an employee,
As an
I think
employee, I think pay rise
would motivate me
would
more.
motivate me more
Why? Why? Because
because pay rise comes from our our record.
our record and performance.
And sorry, comes from our performance
hmm
instead related,
Whereas,
whereas
whereas performance
performance related bonus
bonus
performance related bonus comes from the company's profit.
profit, that's right, as an incentive for you. Very good. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, next. Name an industry where it's especially important for employers to comply with health and safety
Okay.
regulations.
Good question.
Name an industry where it's especially important for employers to comply with health and safety regulation. An industry
An
where it's
industry where
especially
it's
important
especially
for
important
employers to
for
comply
employers to
with health
comply
and
with
safety
health and
regulations
safety
is
regulations
medical
is
industry.
a medical industry.
Very good. Why do people sometimes prefer to visit a shop to purchase goods even when prices are lower online? Why do people sometimes prefer to visit a shop to purchase goods even when prices are lower online? People sometimes
People
prefer
sometimes
to visit a
prefer
shop
to visit a
to
shop
purchase goods
to purchase
even
goods
when
even
prices
when
are lower
prices are
online.
lower online,
Because when you
because
purchase
when you
online,
purchase
you
online,
can't try the
you
product
can't try the
before you buy
product
it.
before you buy
You
it.
have to wait for
You
the
have to
goods to
wait for
arrive.
the goods to arrive.
Returning faulty products
Returning
can be
faulty
difficult,
product can be difficult,
etc.
etc.
But in a manufacturing company, which department is responsible for acquiring the raw materials necessary for production?
Necessary for production.
In a manufacturing company, which
Company.
department is responsible for acquiring the raw materials necessary for production? In a manufacturing
In a
company,
manufacturing
the
company,
purchasing
the
department
purchasing
is
department is
responsible for
responsible
acquiring the
for
raw
acquiring
materials
the raw materials
necessary for production.
necessary for production.
Where if you work as a sales rep for a travel company, what perks might you expect to receive? If you work as a sales rep for a travel company, what perks might you expect to receive? If I work
If
as a
I work
sales rep
as a sales
for a
rep
travel
for a
company,
travel
I might
company,
expect to receive
I might expect. Sorry, I might accept.
expect
Sorry, say that.
one more.
I might. Yeah,
Okay, one more. I might
yeah.
expect to receive
I might expect to receive
perks such as
packs
discounts
such as
on
discounts
flights and
on
hotels.
flights and hotels.
One more. If I
Okay.
work as
If
a
I
sales
work
rep
as a
for a
sales rep
travel company,
for a travel
I
company,
might expect to
I might
receive
expect to receive
perks such as
packs such
discounts
as
on
discounts
flights and
on flights
hotels.
and hotels.
Very good. In a job interview, do you think it's appropriate to ask what perks comes with a position?
Come to the
In a
position.
job interview, do you think it's appropriate to ask what perks come with a position? Yes or no?
No.
In a job interview,
In a job
I
interview,
don't think. It's
I don't think
appropriate
it's
to
appropriate
ask what
to
perks
ask what
comes
perks
with the
comes
position.
with the position.
Very good. Have you ever worked for a company in which the majority of staff had problems coping with their workload? Have you ever worked for a company in which the majority of staff had problems coping with their workload? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've worked for a
I
company
work for a
in which
company
the
in
majority
which
of
the
staff
majority of
had
staff
problems
had
coping with
problems
their workload.
coping with the workload.
Very good. Okay. As a business grows, why does its IT department becomes more and more important? As a business grows, why does its IT department becomes more and more important? As a business
As
grows,
a business
its
grows,
IT
its
department
IT department
becomes more and more
becomes more
important
and more important
because communication
because the
becomes more
communications
dependent
becomes more
on
dependent
computer
on
technology.
computer technology.
Computer networks
Computer
become
networks
more
become
complex.
more
Data
complex.
security
Data
becomes a
security
bigger issue,
becomes a bigger issue,
etc.
etc.
Very good. When do companies normally run marketing campaigns? When do companies normally run marketing campaigns? Companies normally run
Companies normally
marketing
run
campaigns
marketing
when
campaigns
they are planning
when
to
they
launch
are
a new product,
running a new launch product,
right? When they are planning
when they are
to
planning
launch a new
to
product.
launch a new product.
One more. Companies
Okay.
normally
Companies
run marketing
normally run
campaigns
marketing
when they are
campaigns
planning
when they are
to
planning
launch a new
to
product.
launch a new product.
Very good. Okay, do you think it's always better to analyze as much relevant data as possible before making a decision at work?
Make a decision at
Do you
work.
think it's always better to analyze as much relevant data as possible before making a decision at work? Yes or no?
No,
I don't think.
I don't
It's
think
always
it's
better to
always better
analyze
to
as much
analyze
relevant
as much
data
relevant
as
data
possible
as
before making
possible
a
before
decision
making
at
a
work.
decision at work.
Why not? Why not? Because
Because um, there is a possibility to miss the good opportunity for their considering for a long time.
that's correct. So they might miss a good opportunity
They
because
might
they're like
miss
considering the
considering.
offer or the opportunity for a long time. Very good. That's correct.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Okay.
yeah.
Is it in your nature to overanalyze situations and worry too much? Is it in your nature to overanalyze situation and worry too much? Yes or no?
No,
It isn't in my
it isn't
nature
in my
to
nature to
overanalyze
overanalyze the
situations and worry
situations
too much.
and worry too much.
Very good. What do we mean by a cash cow? What do we mean by a cash cow? By a cash
By
cow,
a
we
cash
mean a
cow, we
product
mean
or
a
service
product or
that is
service
well
that
established
is well
and
established
provides a
and
company
provides a
with
company
regular and
with
healthy
regular
revenue.
and healthy revenue.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Our high selling
Our
jeans
high selling,
soon became a cash
so
cow. Our
our
high selling jeans
okay, our high selling jeans
soon became a
soon
cash
became
cow,
a cash cow,
giving us the revenue
giving
we
us the
needed
revenue
to
we
develop
needed to
a wider
develop
range
a
of
wider
clothing.
range of
Clothing.
clothing.
Very good. One more. Our high selling
Our
jeans
high selling
soon
jeans
became a cash
soon
cow,
became a cash cow,
giving us the revenue
giving us the
we
revenue
needed to
we
develop
needed to
a wider
develop
range of
a wider
clothing.
range of clothing.
Very good. Okay. Next. Okay. When we refer to somebody as a client rather than a
Rather
customer,
than a
what can it
customer,
often
what can it
imply?
offer?
When we refer to somebody as a client rather than a customer, what can it often imply?
Right.
When we refer to
When we refer
somebody as a
to
client
somebody as a
rather
client
than a customer,
rather than a
it can
customer,
often
it
imply
can
that the
often
person
imply
is
that the
paying
person
us
is
for a
paying
service
us for a
rather
service
than a physical
rather
product,
than a physical
and
product,
that perhaps
and
we have
perhaps
an
we
ongoing
have
business
an
relationship
ongoing business
with
relationship
them.
with them.
Very good. Who would be more likely to call someone a client, a lawyer, or a shop owner? Who would be more likely to call someone a client, a lawyer, or a shop owner? A lawyer would
A
be more
lawyer
likely
would be
to
more
call
likely
someone a
to
client
call someone a
than a
client
shop owner.
than a shop owner.
Very good. Okay, and that's the end of our revision. Let's have
Mm,
new word.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
let's have the first. Okay, repeat. Stand for.
Stand for.
R&D or research and development.
R&D or research and development.
Very good. Okay, listen. Stand for, when we say stand for, it's a phrasal verb.
Presserberg
If a letter, an abbreviation, or a symbol stands for something,
stands
that
for
is what it
something.
means or
What
represents.
it means to
For
represent.
example, R&D stands
R&D
for research
stands
and
for
development.
research and development.
R&D works
R&D
is most
works
important in
is most
medicine,
important in
education,
medicine,
etc.
education, etc.
Let's practice. What does the abbreviation R&D stand for? What does the abbreviation R&D stand
R&D
for?
stands for
The abbreviation
the abbreviation
R&D stands
R&D
for
stands
research and
for
development.
research and development.
But in which area do you think R&D work is most important? Farming, medicine, or education?
Medicine,
In
education.
which area do you think R&D work is most important? In farming, medicine, or education? I think
I
R&D
think
work
R&D
is most
works is the
important
most important
in medicine
medical sorry in medicine.
or
Okay,
medical field. We-
medical field.
Yeah, if we want to use
Medicine.
medical in medical field or
Yeah,
medicine.
medicine. Okay.
Very good. How can the marketing department of a company help the R&D
Marketing.
department? How can the marketing department of a company help the R&D department? The marketing department
The
of a
marketing
company
department
can help
sorry
the marketing
the
department
marketing
of
company
a company. The
the
marketing
marketing department
of a company
of a
can
company
help the
and
R&D
helps the
department
R&D department
by providing
by
with
providing
data on consumer
with
demand,
data on
demand,
consumer demand,
product sales,
product
etc.
sales, etc.
One more. The
Okay.
marketing department
The
of
marketing
a
department
company
of a
can help
company
the
can help
R&D
the
department
R&D department
by providing it
by
with
providing
data
it
on
with
consumer
data
demand,
on consumer
product
demand,
sales, etc.
product sales, etc.
Well, very good. Next, repeat. Conference.
Conference,
Conference call.
conference call,
Very good. Okay, listen. Conference is a noun. It means a large meeting, often lasting
large
for a
meeting,
few
often
days,
lasting for a
where
few
people
days,
who are interested in a
where
particular
interested
subject
in a
come
particular
together to
subject
discuss
come together
ideas.
to discuss
For
ideas.
example, an international conference on
International
the control of
conference
illegal
on
drugs.
control.
After traveling abroad to attend a conference, people claim for
People claim
expenses such
for
as the cost
expenses
of
such
flight,
as the cost of
accommodation, meals,
accommodation,
etc.
meals, etc.
Conference call is a noun. It means a telephone call in which three
Telephone
or
call
more
with the three
people
or
use
more
special
people
equipment
using a special
that
equipment
allows each
that
of them
allows
to
each
hear and
of them
speak with
to
each
hear
other.
and speak with each other.
For, for example, during a conference call, we can avoid the confusion of not knowing whose voice
Not
we're
knowing whose
listening
voice
to
are listening
by
to
asking everyone to
by
say their
asking
name
everyone to
each
say their
time they
name
speak.
each time they speak.
Very good. Let's practice. After traveling abroad to attend a conference, what kind of expenses do people claim for? After traveling abroad to attend a conference, what kind of expenses do people claim for? After traveling abroad
After
to
traveling
attend a
abroad,
conference,
uh,
one more. After traveling abroad
after traveling
to
abroad
attend a
to
conference,
attend a
people
conference,
claim
people
expenses
claim
such as
expenses
the
such
cost of
as
flights,
cost of flights,
accommodation, meal,
accommodation,
etc.
meal, etc.
Very good. During a conference call, how can we avoid the confusion of not knowing whose voice we're listening? During a conference call, how can we avoid the confusion of not knowing whose voice we're listening to? During a conference
During a
call,
conference
we can
call,
avoid the
we can
confusion
avoid the
of not
confusion
knowing
of
whose
not
voice
knowing
we're listening to,
not knowing
whose voice
whose voice
we're listening to
we are listening to
by asking everyone
by
to
asking
say their
everyone
name
to
each
say their
time they
name
speak.
each time they speak.
Very good. One more.
Okay.
During a
Okay.
conference call,
During conference
we can
call,
avoid
we
the
can avoid
confusion
the
of not
confusion
knowing
of not
whose
knowing
voice we're
whose
listening
voice
to
we are listening
by
to
asking
by
everyone
asking
to say their
everyone
name
to say their
each time
name
they
each
speak.
time they speak.
Very good. Next, repeat. Input,
Input,
output,
output,
resource,
resource,
labor,
Labor.
Very good. Okay, listen. Resource is a noun. It means something such as money,
Such as
workers, or
money,
equipment
workers, or
that can be used
equipment
to help a
that can be
business.
used to help a business.
Labor is a noun. It means all the workers in a
All the
particular
workers in a
country,
particular
industry, or
country,
company
industry,
are
or company
considered as a group.
are considered as
By inputs, we mean all the resources that come into a business, for example, energy, raw materials,
energy, raw
labor,
material,
etc.
labor, etc.
When we say output, we mean the goods that the business produces and the
Produces
services that it
services
provides.
that they provide.
When we talk about a person's
Talk about
input,
the
we
person
mean, for
input.
example,
Maybe, for
the
example,
work they have personally done on a project, on their contribution during a discussion.
during discussion.
Very good. Okay, let's practice. What are the inputs in a business? What are the inputs of a business such as clothes factory? What are the inputs of a business such as clothes factory? The inputs of a
The inputs
business
of a
such
business,
as a
such
clothes
as
factory
clothes
are
factory,
cloth and other
clothes,
raw
and
materials,
other raw
labor,
materials, labor,
electricity, etc.
electricity, etc.
And what are the outputs? What are the outputs? The outputs
The
are the
outputs
finished clothes
are the finished clothes
that the factory
that the
produces.
factory produces.
Very good. Why might an employer decide to give a particular employee a bonus? Why might an employer decide to give a particular employee a bonus? An employer might
An
decide
employer
to
might
give a
decide to
particular
give a
employee
particular
a bonus
employee a
because
bonus
their
because
personal input
the personal
has been
input
very
has
valuable
been very
to the
valuable
company.
to the
They have
company.
achieved a
They have
difficult
achieved
target,
a difficult target,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Next, repeat. Freelance,
Freelance,
freelancer,
freelancer,
self-employed,
self-employed,
appoint,
appoint,
take on,
take on,
expand.
expand,
And this one is verb contract.
contract,
Contract. Very good.
con-
Contract. Okay.
contract,
Contract. Contract and contract. Okay,
contract,
let's
and
check
contract.
what's the use of this in the business term. Okay. Okay, listen. Freelance. Freelance is a work. Is a work. Is a worker. Is an adjective. So freelance as a worker is an
Freelance,
adjective. By
adjective.
freelance worker, we mean a self-employed person who offers their services to
For the services
companies.
to company names.
Freelancer is a noun. It means someone who is not
Someone who is
permanently
not
employed by a
permanently
particular
employed by a
company,
particular
but
company,
sells their services to
sells
more
the
than one
services to
company.
one company.
Self-employed is an adjective. It means working for yourself instead for an employer and being paid directly by the people to who you provide a product or
Provide
service.
a product service.
Appoint is a verb. It means to choose someone to do a particular job or have a particular
Or have a
position.
particular position.
Take on is a phrasal verb. It
So
means to
verb
start to employ someone.
start to employ someone.
Expand is a verb. It means if a business
If
expands,
it
it
is
grows by
expanded,
including
it
more
grows by
people,
including more
moving
people,
into new
moving
areas,
into
selling
new
more
areas,
products,
selling more
etc.
products, etc.
Contract is a verb. It means hiring someone to work.
Hiring
A
someone to work.
contractor.
Contractor.
Okay, for example, a small company might sometimes prefer to appoint
Sometimes
a
prefer to
freelancer
appoint a
rather than
freelancer
take on a
rather
permanent
than take
staff
on a
member
permanent staff
because
member.
appointing
Because
freelancers
appointing
allow a
freelancers
company to
allow a
expand
company
and
to
contract
expand and
more
contract
easily
more
according to
easily
how much
according
work is
to how
available
much work is
and
available,
therefore control labor
therefore
costs.
control labor cost.
Very good. Okay, next. Let's practice. What
Okay,
do we mean by freelance worker? What do we mean by freelance worker? By freelance
by
worker,
freelance
we
worker,
mean a
we mean
self-employed
a
person
self-employed
who
person
offers their
who
services
offers
to
the
companies.
services to companies.
Why might a small company sometimes prefer to appoint a freelancer rather than take on a permanent staff member? Why might a small company sometimes prefer to appoint a freelancer rather than
Freelancer.
take on a permanent staff member? A small company
A small
might
company
sometimes
might
prefer
sometimes
to
prefer
appoint a
to appoint
freelancer
a
rather
freelancer
than take
rather
on a
than take
permanent
on
staff
a permanent
member
staff
because
members,
appointing
because
freelancers
appointing
allows a
freelancers
company to
allows a
expand
company
and
to
contract
expand
more
and
easily
contract more easily
according to how much work
according
is
to how much
available
work is
and
available
therefore
and
control
therefore
labor
control
costs.
labor cost.
Very good. Next, repeat custom.
Custom.
Customs.
Customs.
Very good. Okay, listen. Custom is a noun. It means the place at an airport, border, etc., where government officers collect customs on goods and look for things that
Look for things that
people are trying to bring into the country
bring
illegally.
into the country
For
illegally.
example, all goods imported into my country have to go through customs. Customs with an S is also a noun. It means something that people do that is traditional or usual.
The traditional
For
usual.
example, when planning a marketing campaign in
When
a
marketing
foreign
campaign
country,
in a
it's
foreign
important to
country,
take
it's
into
important
account
to
the
take into
customs,
account the
language,
customs,
and culture of the
language, and the
country.
culture of the country.
Okay, but now let's move on to reading.
I'm reading.
Okay, very good. Okay, so our reading, we ended up at page 14. Last headword was priority. Start at the last question. Why should we always spend a few minutes?
Okay, I find it. Uh, why should we always spend a few minutes prioritizing our tasks before we start work each day? We should always spend a few minutes prioritizing our tasks before we start work each day so that urgent or important tasks get done first.